Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie Horton. I'm the Global Marketing Director for Google Commerce. So happy to be here today to discuss Google's partnership with 15% Pledge with founder Aurora James.
Hi, Stephanie. I'm so excited to be chatting with you today. As you know, I am the founder and creative director of Brother Rallies and also the founder of the nonprofit advocacy organization, the 15% Pledge. And I'm so excited to dig in with you.
So my first question for you, you started 15% Pledge with an Instagram post in 2020, and it's now a full-fledged nonprofit. Can you speak more about how you made that first post and why?
It was spring 2020. Like all of us, I was at home trying to stay safe and trying to keep my family and my community also safe and not get sick. And when Mr. Floyd was murdered, I started getting a lot of calls and emails just from different people, wanting to know how they should address what was going on within their company. And while these companies felt like they were saying the right things and it felt like their heart was in it, I necessarily wasn't really feeling it. And on that Saturday, May 29th, a friend of mine called me about a major retailer, and she just told me that they had just donated a couple $1 million to a nonprofit organization. And I was like, that's amazing. But it's also important for us to remember that Black people spend more than $2 million on any given morning at that retailer, right? And if we're talking about what it means to be anti-racist and actually make change in the long term, it's going to take a lot more than a one-time donation. And she was like, well, what would you want them to do? And I was like, well, Black people are almost 15% of the population. They should commit 15% of their shelf space to Black-owned businesses. All of the rates that we were seeing of the Black community not getting the support that they needed prior to the pandemic was just being exacerbated. At the time, they were estimating that over 42% of Black-owned businesses would close because of the pandemic. I took an hour, wrote it all out, and I posted it on Instagram, and I tagged a bunch of companies that I thought should take the pledge. We launched the petition on Monday at noon. By Tuesday, we had almost 100,000 signatures, and by Wednesday, we became a nonprofit, and by day 10, Sephora became the first major company to commit to the 15% pledge. And since then, we have signed 28 major companies to the 15% pledge, and we're moving over $10 billion in revenue to Black-owned businesses across this country. And I truly believe that we are just getting started.
Obviously, different companies are probably doing this different ways. How are people actually using the pledge?
Yeah, so everyone is sort of doing it a little bit differently, right? But from the retailer's perspective, they're sort of the most classic case. So if you look at an Ulta Beauty, for example, they're committing to getting to 15% of their shelf space actually being from Black-owned businesses. So every quarter, we're making recommendations to them of Black-owned businesses that we think make sense to scale into their shelves, because it's not meant to happen overnight, right? It's supposed to be a lifestyle change. So I think now we're starting to think about diversity with a much more broader range, right?
Yes.
And it's not just about, okay, how many people of color are in your advertising campaign. It's how many people of color are working in your retail stores and then graduating into corporate, and how many people of color are on your board, right?
Right. So getting into our partnership, we recently launched, obviously Google announced its support of 15% pledge and its mission and its commitment to scaling its free digital training to the businesses in your database. Can you speak more to this ecosystem and how consumers, businesses, and even big brands can be using it to increase their support of Black-owned businesses?
Totally. So our ecosystem is incredibly important to me, to have a place where we can find Black entrepreneurs, whether you are, the Sephoras of the world or the West Elms of the world, who are on there every day going through the different Black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
Or if you're one of our consumers, right? Because we always ask consumers to take the pledge in their own life. Commit 15% of your own spending to Black-owned businesses.
So just getting into some logistics now, how can brands who haven't taken the pledge yet join? How does it work? What do they do?
Yeah, so they really just reach out to us and we start having a conversation with them. Some of them are, really, really on it, and others are just like, what do we do? And
Yeah.
both places to be at are great places to start, right? Like it's one foot in front of the other. What we've seen in the data so far is that it's actually a really profitable experience for them.
Well, Aurora, I mean, literally, this has been amazing. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a great conversation. I've actually learned so much. I would urge any brands tuning into this right now to consider how they can increase their support for Black-owned businesses, and the 15% pledge. I would really remind any consumers watching, to your point, please use the 15% pledge's new ecosystem. Black-owned businesses support in every way you can. And if you are a Black-owned business, make sure you join the roster of, pledges and businesses. And, a little plug to Google, add the Black-owned business badge to your Google search, maps, and shopping to make sure you're discoverable and showing up when people search Black-owned businesses or Black-owned techs, because that's going to help you as well. And finally, just check out 15% Pledge's website to learn more, take action. And Aurora, thank you so much again. This has been such a pleasure.
Oh my gosh, Stephanie, thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much to Google for supporting the pledge and all of the Black-owned businesses across this country by allowing us to coalesce in this way. So much love to you guys.